Evening all. So here we go, another tactics map for you. This is a good one. This is MANUS Peak. This map I think is a particularly frantic map, and hopefully you'll see that as we go through some of the footage later. But first off, CIUs. Let's have a look at the CIUs. Well, we have two. They basically are near C and B. Now, there are variants to this map, so just be aware of that. But generally, the layout's not too dissimilar. And really, I think if you're going to be taking the CIUs, then that's kind of why those are kind of the points you're then going to be going from. Generally, most people fight from A to C or A to B. But, you know, I think the CIUs are just absolutely critical to this. And I would probably say there's always the area to look for. Now, sniper spots. To be honest, this map is made for snipers. Point 3, I think, is your primary sniper spot. It sucks if you're actually spawned on the other side of the map, so you can't get to it. But you see where the little speaker microphone icon is on the screen. That little path leads all the way up to the top of the mountain. Now, if you're going to snipe, just go up there and snipe. You will be annoying players for the whole map if you do that. But don't forget to take a spawn pad because you could be counter-sniped. I think for the other side, you've got obviously Area 1, but I think sniping is a particularly important part of this map. In terms of hot zones, we've got obviously most of the action will take place around the 3 capture points. Vehicles generally tend to be fighting in between, but most people generally run to A, B or C, and that's generally where most of the action happens. Like I say, this is a sniper bowl. You're in a bowl here, so you're basically going to get it sniped continually, so just be prepared for that. In terms of spawn pads, well, there's quite a few areas you can put them, I think. Obviously behind the bases at B and C. I think obviously try and keep one near A as well, and you've got a few locations A, but most importantly put one on top of that mountain if you're going to snipe. So, let's have a look at some sped up footage here. Now, this is a relatively interesting conflict here because it was, again, a very close match, and I think, again, you'll probably see through capturing of the CIUs, I still believe that they are key to winning the map, and yeah, we'll test that theory. This map was particularly good because everybody was spawning in lots of vehicles, so there was lots of really good vehicle footage in this one, and you'll see dropships, tanks, and all that good stuff. Now, I think from the get-go, it's pretty much an early start. It's pretty much level pegging. I think on the clone war, I'd say blue are maybe, well, no, it's about equal. I'd say maybe just slightly ahead. Obviously, orange have got a tank out, so that's causing a lot of problems, and that tank is just sat at B. Look at how it's hemming them in. In terms of tactics, tanks, even if you've got a pretty crap fit one, they are a bit of a terror weapon, and I think a lot of people get incredibly scared of tanks. And you can see that tank's just buzzing around B, and it's doing its job really well. It's kept them hemmed in so the enemy team can capture C. Obviously there's a lot of fire on that tank, and boom, he just died. But there you go, that's probably the power of a tank, is it's a psychological thing to bear in mind there. Now, with this map particularly, it is a pain in the arse to go from one point to the other on foot, because it's quite a long walk. So, most of us will spawn in a vehicle, and that takes time. So I think this is the kind of map where you probably just want to be spawning in a vehicle, even if you're not going to use it. Teams where they just generally mass spawn stuff, obviously you hit a limit, but having just a lot of vehicles out when they need to be used is pretty key, because as you can see, basically the enemy team are at C. There's a bit of a fight going on around A, but not too bad, and you've got a bit of, oh no, there we go, capturing. So you've got nothing at B. So this really is a swinging battle, because one team has got C with the CIU, the other team has got B with the CIU, and therefore they're only really fighting over A. Now that's pretty much how this map goes. Now, interestingly enough, they've just taken B, so that's quite a fascinating one, and then the other team are now trading. So again, there's a bit of a swap round, but again, I stress, the CIUs are now both under enemy control, and therefore the only spawn point that the enemy have, or rather the allies have, is at A. So now they're absolutely screwed. And okay, they can spawn at C, now they can't because it's just been taken, but you see how it's going? Now we have dropships up as well, so this is starting to become, I would say, probably a more frantic battle. And I noticed that blue have also taken out the CIU. So it's getting interesting. This is good. I think you've got a lot of dropships out as well. You've got a fair bit of to and fro going on. Now, what you probably can't see around, but you can see in the damage notifications, is there's a lot of sniping going on as well. But look at that. The whole map has now changed so that B and A are under control of the enemy. So this is, I think, rush gameplay maybe at its best, but also at its worst, because I think, again, also a lot of the time the CIUs and such are not being particularly well kept. Now, the CIU at B has just been taken, so that's pretty much game over, I think, for point B. But they have a lot of tanks and vehicles out, so I think, and you can see they're shooting each other down as well. And it's pretty cool. It's brilliant listening to this as well. I don't know, I'll shut up for a second because you can hear the little dropships buzzing around like a fly. It's well funny. I'll include a little bit at the end for it. But you can basically see this is, you know, kind of the fascinating part of this map is that there really is this kind of to and fro gameplay. Basically, nobody in dust defends, yeah, and that's a bold statement, but I do stand by it. Everybody rushes to go and get whatever the next objective is, so it's pretty much just a merry-go-round, or, you know, it's almost like musical chairs until eventually there's one winner. And I find that interesting because I think that there has to be a particular defense, you know, strategy here, because you know right now everybody's running to see, so that's what they can do, and basically they're bombarding them like crazy. But yeah, this is interesting. So in terms of the MCC battle, orange are winning. In terms of the clone battle, blue are winning. So, you know, this is quite tense, tense final few moments. So, but as you say, they've captured A, so therefore the MCC battle is now slightly more in their favour, and I think the clone battles is also becoming a bit more equal as well. So I couldn't call this one. I obviously know who won. I'm just making it dramatic, but you can see. So there we go. The clone battles is now going slightly the other way, so 18, 17. But the MCC battle is almost but one. There we go. And I get the hell out, and basically the MCC goes off. And there we go. Win. So yeah, interesting one, I think. You know, certainly when it comes to you know, this particular map, there are many variants of this map, but I think you can see the key points. It really does come down to, you know, denying a spawn point and keeping it relatively under your control. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you.